It's that time again. Sunday, 6 p.m. Welcome to Steve's Place. Tonight we're going to have a really good show on pulsed energy medicine here. So that should be really a good show. But in the meantime, there's a couple of things I'd like to talk about. The first is in our magazine, Extraordinary Technology. This is our magazine that we've had in the past. Okay. And right now we're putting together some sales on our back issue. We have the ultimate back issue sale, which will include these back issues from prior to 2013. Okay, and there's like 22 of them. And then we have another 8 back issues I'll be showing next week. And then we'll also have our exotic research series from way back when. The amazing stuff about our materials and the articles we have at these conferences is a lot of that stuff is just as good today as it was back then, you know, and so if you were to get these, you know, there's a lot of good information in. I think on our website, Teslatech.info, we do have the table of contents of a lot of these magazines up there, so you can get an idea, and I'll be putting out more information on this. If we're doing this, you get the ultimate back issue set will be like on sale now for $200. Normally it'd be $200 for these, and $50 for the exotic research, and another I believe it was like $80 for the other back issue. So you're looking at a $300 package for sale for $200 for shipping and handling in the United States. And I say, you know, this information is good as today as it was back then, you know. And hopefully we'll be able to get a better ad on this. Okay. And now I'd like to continue pushing for our 2026 conference, August 12th to 16th at the Crown Plaza Hotel. Our pre-registration is a 40% discount right now. I encourage everyone to get signed up for it. If you sign up for it now, you get the workshop, which is normally $50 for free. So go ahead and get signed up. If you have, you can sign up on our website, Teslatech.info. We now have the shopping cart operating reliably, or you can just give me a call. 520-463-1994 is our office phone number, you know, and or you can call 520-252-0374, which is my cell phone number. And I generally answer this thing about 24/7, you know, because I'm working like around the clock. And so it'll be at the Crown Plaza again this year. And like I say, you know, we have our breakfast, you know, it's going to be like $129 for 1 or 2 people. And that includes breakfast. And you just can't beat that. You know, the breakfast in itself is just, you know, it's like a $30 saving right there, you know. So I encourage everyone to get signed up as soon as possible. Save that 40%. I know times are rough, you know, and it's really tough out there. But there's things we need to do and there's things we want to do. And this is one of the things that, if you're into this stuff or if you're into exploration, this is the conference you want to be at. We're going to have a lot of good speakers there who are going to be able to sit down, talk to in the evening. You know, when you're getting some food there, we provide food there in the evenings. So you'll be able to eat and talk to these people and ask questions. You're going to meet all kinds of people there in addition to speakers. You're going to meet people who could, it might live just down the street from you and is doing the same thing that you're working on, so you can collaborate together and work together. You're going to meet people who talk your language. How many times you try to say something and these people, it's like they're in a different world. They don't talk Teslese. They don't know how to talk about technical stuff. So this is a good opportunity to meet other people just like you. So come on, get signed up, save your 40%. And like I say, I'm here like 24/7, except for during this show. Okay, and now I also want to encourage people to take and join our YouTube channel. You can subscribe. Subscriptions are free. And we do have a couple hundred videos up there that are free, and we have a $9.99 membership. For those who want total access, and that's a bargain. I mean, if you go to buy a DVD, okay, it's going to cost about $20, let's say, and then turn around and you have $10 shipping and handling these days. So that's $29.95, and if you have more than one, it really pops up. Whereas for $9.99, it's up there 24 hours a day. You can check these DVDs out, and if there's one that you really don't want to make sure you have no matter what, then you can order that particular one. And speaking of DVDs, right now we still have our sale on for the conference DVDs from last year. And so I encourage you to go ahead and buy some. And if you want a previous conference from past conferences, you can get a discount. If you buy 3 or more, you get like $5 off each DVD on the previous ones, which is a pretty good savings. Anyway, give us a call. Let us know what's going on. Now, without further ado, let me introduce our guest for tonight. Let me figure out how to get this out of here. And that would be Mr. Christopher Leonard. Hello, Christopher.
Hello. And, thank you for having me on.
He's from Miami, and he's here to tell you all about his experiments with orgonite and other exotic technologies with his pulse electronic. Why don't you tell us about yourself, Leonard?
My name is Christopher Scott Leonard, and I'm a finished carpenter by trade. 27 years of building homes from the ground up in construction, and about half of that I specialize in finished carpentry, installing baseboards, crown moldings, and interior doors. And that was that career, and now I'm on to a new career, dealing with PEMF devices after I had a couple of auto accidents that took me out of the workforce. I decided to get into these devices rather than go through surgeries or get into the deal of taking medications and pills and going through that to that was not a good option in my mind to have. So that's another reason why I got into building these devices. And I've been studying and learning about the PEMF through the works of George Lakhovsky, compilation with Tesla, Nikola Tesla, and Rife and Wilhelm Reich all did this, similar works with this, and that's who I've studied their paperworks and their stuff to be able to build and think of how to build one of these devices myself. It's an issue I was having with most of the devices that were on the market already were highly expensive. They were unreasonable. So that's one of the reasons why I got into building this, to see if I could build one of these. The first one I went to get, the least expensive one, I believe, was the Chi coil, and that one had that pretty much is technically a rodent coil that you can plug into the phone, and then you pulse the frequencies out of that, and then you could put it and place it on your body and that. But like I said, all these devices are pretty expensive. So I believe I decided to get a Bluetooth compatible Tesla coil, which let me see here. This is the simple. It's a bifiller Tesla coil, and it has Bluetooth compatible where you have the two switches here, so you can either run it manually or you can run it and connect with Bluetooth, which that's what I'm going to display and show you now. I have you can either use a tablet or the telephone to connect, and then I'm also using with it. See here, I'm using with it the Z app, the free generator, frequency generator, which has Rife frequencies in it. It has let me see, sequences where it'll play multiple different frequencies, and then you can set a frequency in there, a custom one, and then play it on a loop. So you can just have this running like it is right now. I have it running just on manual. Actually, no, it is connected. I'm sorry. So what I can do is I wanted to be able to pulse the frequencies and use that for healing purposes, to reset one's cells, as they say in their research, and that's where I'm at now with these. So I have several prototypes that I started with a pyramid originally. The one I have right now sitting here is a bell shape orgonite on top. So what I do is that technically the orgonite part connects on the top is an actual it acts as an antenna. So when the orgonite, so you have the Bluetooth Tesla coil connected to and then the orgonite here to set, and the way I've made it, the way I've made it here, I'll show you a close-up view of it so you can get a close-up. The most important part that I have is the connection that it makes, so where you can set it on top of the Tesla coil, which is a wrapped quartz crystal. And then this one is the second prototype that I made. So this is the second generation one, to where I have magnets on the top to where I can actually attach the bulbs, or you can, if you wanted to attach the different bulbs, or you can run it by itself without the bulb on it, and then you can also attach anything magnetic to the top and use it as a spark. That'll be the spark needle. But for this purpose, I don't want to have any arcing due to the ozone burning, and you don't want to have any. I don't want to have any arcs like it is now, arcing for that purpose, the purpose of the ozone. So this there, and I'm going to show a display right now of how to connect to this and set it up, the setup of it. So there's a switch, like I showed before. There's a switch on the one side, and it has music, which that's the one you're going to connect. That connects to the Bluetooth. That's the availability. And then the one you run the manual, you can run it on the manual this way. But the issue with that is you don't know what frequency you're playing. So that's where the Z app or the frequency generator comes in now. Okay, so we have that, and now what we're going to do is switch it over to connect to the Bluetooth, and I'm using a tablet on this. It's easier for me to see, and you can use a telephone. So that's going to connect. I'm going to show you right here. We're going to go in here and get this here. I believe we're already connected to the Bluetooth, but I'll show you how to do it. Just push the Bluetooth and turn the Bluetooth on, and it'll show up Tesla coil in there. So that's connected now for audio, okay? Now, we're gonna go back in here, and then we're gonna open up, I've opened up the Z app. Let me see, this is what it looks like inside here. I'm gonna make sure I don't have any glare over here. That's just what the menu looks like. And then we're gonna go in here, and I'm just gonna, for this purpose, to turn the frequency on, you wanna go in the frequencies list, and then I'm gonna go with 52 Hertz as an example. We're gonna get 52 Hertz. And then what you want to do next is there's a little loop icon on the side. It might be hard to see there. I put the little loop so it stays continuous, so I can leave this running continuous. Now how you want to do the volume to bring up the power on the frequency is there's a left knob for the energy and the frequency on that. So I don't usually turn it up till like half. You don't need to turn it up with half. And then also you can use the volume button here will also turn it up. So I don't want to really keep it up real high. So what I'll do is I'll put it up high first, and then I'll bring down the volume, and then use the volume over here until I see the plasma and the volts inside the bulb, which this is just a simple ceiling fan bulb. There's a couple different ones. It has either the vacuum in it, and it has the argon, to where you notice it doesn't light up like a regular light bulb because of the electromagnetics going through that and lighting it up and exciting the gases in there. So that's the plasma part of it that goes along with the works. And then these little other bulbs on the side, I just put there just to show besides the bulb on the top there, to where I can see it's on. So you can take those. I can take those on and off with the magnet. Like I said, this is a second generation prototype. So that's like that. You can leave it without it. And you would have to just look, see, that's a visual of it. And that also is part of it. The plasma is part of it. So, but that's how I use it right now. So that's on right now. And then we'll put this back on here. Like I said, I made it, you can put different ones. So that'll be different frequencies. And that's the multi-wave oscillator antenna prototype. And then here's an original over here I have, which I'll show. I have a display with some pictures, and this is the original one where I had metal legs, and then I have the copper wrapped. I have the copper wrapped inside quartz crystal, and then there's layers of metals here. So there's which is the orgonite, how you build the orgonite. So, and also I have, I believe I have magnets in there too. And then there'll be I'll put some gemstones or whatever other frequencies, whatever the frequency, everything has the frequency. So this is the original one. And then the bulb was glued on here. So, and then this just sat on top of the coil like that. It sat pretty much like that on top of the coil. So this is the first prototype. So I've improved it, and then also by getting the different geometric, I'm using the bell shape here, and then I've also gone even further with a cube, a sphere, which I have over here also. I went on a building spree and just went, with all the geometry for the waves, to frequency waves to come out. Because each one, they call it a causal wave, is what I believe Robert Gilbert, rest in peace, called it the causal wave. The shape causal wave, the shape of the geometry causes the wave to go out, the frequency wave. Most of it is, of course, the torus, but this just keeps going out here. So I have that one there, and I've done a cube This one's a cube. So you have different geometry, and then they easily they'll set right on top of the coil. And as you notice too, you're not getting the bolts. There's no bolts coming out like you would have the regular Tesla coil there, and it's loud. And for this purpose, I didn't want that. You don't want to have the crackling, annoying, and then the ozone burning and such with that. So this is silent, totally silent, so you can have it running without that kind of, the Tesla coil annoyance of the loud crackling sounds and whatnot. So I have that there, and then let me see. Here's the first prototype here. That one. Oh, I'm sorry. I was trying to share the screen here so you could see the other prototype. All right. I don't have it on there. Steve, do you have it on so I can share the pictures? There you go. Thank you very much. Yeah, so this is what I just showed you is the first prototype. That's that one there with the bulb on top. And then it's sitting on top. This is also one of the smaller versions of the Tesla coil. They're inexpensive. So you can get these Tesla coils for about 40 bucks. And then I've upgraded and went to the bigger coils on this other device here. When you play the higher frequencies, it tends to, on the smaller coils, I burned a couple of them out, so I decided to go with that as an upgrade. Like I said, the higher frequencies tend to do damage actually to the coil and burn up the coils. So let me see what I have here. Let me see if I have. Now this is a use case that I have for programming frequencies into water, because everything with a crystalline structure holds memory, and since water holds memory, everything with a crystalline structure holds memory is what, to my knowledge, my research. So to use this device to program the frequency into water, I have another one over here on the side, which is the other geometric shape that I didn't show before, and that one's the flower of life one, I call that. So I had that one just put off to the side of it, as you can see in the picture, right? You can see that in the picture, and it's imprinting the frequency into the water that way, so you can drink it but instead of just sitting by the device, which that's technically all you need to do. You don't really need to zap yourself, or you can if you want to. That's but that's not how I use it. So that's one use case that I have, and this is one way that I have used it. And like I said, if that's the case, you can program the frequencies, and this is what you can use to program frequencies into pretty much anything you want to, anything with a crystalline structure. And it's sitting right on top of a quartz countertop also. So that frequency is traveling right through all of that, pulsing into that kitchen countertop right there, by the way. Okay. So here's another geometric shape prototype. It's the same one that I have right here, which is the bell shape saucer. So I have the metal shavings in there. There's many different gemstones. So that gives it more frequencies. With whatever frequency you're playing on there, we're getting multiwave oscillator, hence multiwave oscillator. And here's one prototype that I did to where the inside I put some gallium in a ceramic insulator, and it has magnets and also the orgonite. It also has the orgonite on top of that. And this was the original smaller coils. Like I said, you can get these inexpensively on Amazon or eBay or whatnot. And this one right here was a beautiful, had a beautiful plasma display, have a bigger bulb. So all of this is pretty much customizable to where, you know, I don't know how to blow glass. So if I was a glass blower, I can also do some more custom with the gas and the noble gases on top of this, which I have over here. Here's another one right here. Here's a display. Here's a neon. That's a neon one. I'll put that and leave that over there. But it's just fully customizable with the size coils. You can go higher, bigger coils, bigger pyramids. Everything is totally scalable, and to any, you know, fully customizable to into infinity, pretty much. All right, that's that display. And here is the same one here with the flower, and then that's you know, on that. So that's playing 369 hertz. Okay, and that's that, and that's me touching it right there. And you don't really feel, you don't get the heavy zaps like you do with the lower, even though that's 369 hertz, but you can touch it safely and it's not that hot. It won't burn you, like I said, the lower frequencies. But when you get into the higher frequencies, it'll start to burn you, and that's not what you want. That's not what I want. So I keep it in the lower frequency zones, and this is one example here for the PEMF, pulsed electromagnetic field therapy. Excuse, my mouth is dry. This is an example here with the lower frequencies, how the lower frequencies are, I believe, to be more important than the higher ones. The higher frequencies possibly for other purposes, but not the purpose really that I want. That's, to me, the higher purposes, the higher frequencies cause destruction and stuff like that, and the lower ones, like the Schumann, in my under my knowledge, are the ones that are healing, like the Earth, the lower Earth frequencies. This is just another, you know, a little example right here. Let's see what I have here. This is from the George Lakhovsky multiwave oscillator antennas, which I'm going to show here that go with it as an accessory. This is another accessory. Now, this one I'll show you here, one that I have. These go with it, and they plug in. Let me bring up another one briefly. This is just a diagram, and this is from the George Lakhovsky MWO handbook. If anybody wanted to go in here and read this for themselves and research and do it, by shout out to this Peter Lindman, give him credit for this is part of the Lakhovsky multi-wave oscillator book, and this shows the Lakhovsky units and the circuitry and everything it's describing. And here's what I want to show here is this is how they use these oscillator units, which are a lot bigger, and then you would sit in between them. So I came up with this, and to give credit to another doctor that I'm friends with, that came up with the Lakhovsky, the way he was using his Lakhovsky discs. This one right here, I put it on a fan. Thank you, Steve. I put this on a little fan, and it has a USB plug. So now this is simply an antenna, but I'm spinning these. This is the spinning one right here. So now I have this one attached. You can attach them, plug them in. You can plug them into, let me put this back over here. That's the multi-wave. These plug in, I have one pointing, this is the way I use it, is I have it pointing directly at me when I'm on my computer, using my computer, and then I have this device running. So anywhere the wiring it's going, where I have this plugged in, to my knowledge, it's pulsing through all the wires in the circuitry around here. So when you plug these to your also into your computer, you're getting the pulse. I'm getting the pulse here. So you can plug these in and then direct them at you while you're using this, put them and direct them towards you. I have another one in the back over here. It's right up in the back, right there. That one is pointing directly at the screen up there. There's another one on a fan. So I have actually 3 of them kind of like pointing at me right now. And I'll show you. These can plug in either through the USB port, or you can take them and then plug them in one of these phone chargers. You can plug that in like that and plug it into the wall, and then you can hang this up and clip it. You can clip this. And then there is another one to where I'm working on some other experiments with it now. I'll give you a little preview with the water. To put this on both sides, of the water, and program that into the water too with the multi-wave, the multi-frequencies inside the water that way. That's another use case and another way I am using it besides just having the directional energy. That's all that is an antenna that directs the energy. That's what I have on that. Here, let me put these off to the side. And then that goes with this right here. Can you give me back the display, Steve, on my. So that goes with, that's those. So instead of using these big units, I've scaled it down. This is small scale. This is small scale, and that's and then this right here. This is why these copper. This is almost like these copper. The copper wristband that you wear on your wrist and stuff like that. Even though this is the diagram in this, but that's how they work when they use those. It's an antenna technically. Is all that is, and it's attracting the. Let me see if I can go on here. Now here's another accessory that I'm going to get to, which is the ankh. This was a parchment that's hanging on my wall that my mother brought back when she visited the pyramids, and this is one of my things that started my electromagnetism journey. Along with the, being having issues with chronic pain and whatnot and stuff is one of them. But this is a beautiful display, I believe, of the ankh. And when I see this and what you get out of this is in the ground level, you can come up with what you see in the perspective. But I see above ground right here. This is being the ground. And I see different things in here. Of course, you have the wrap coil, and to me, the yellow is either the gold, probably gold or a metal, and then the snake. I know the snakes. Everything in the hieroglyphs to me showing the snakes are electricity. So this is what I get out of it just by looking at this without being told what this stuff is. And I believe there's other sentiment stuff inside of here where there's coils, and then the colors represent other possibly metals, and then these are probably noble gases, different gases and such in the periodic table I'm seeing, and that's life. This is life energy coming out from the ground with the coil through the coils, and then you have this. I'm getting to the ankh, which is an accessory. And I've always been fascinated by the pyramids. I'm sure a lot of people are, and they still haven't. They don't have all the, the answers of how it works. But there's been many people that have come up with really good hypotheses and whatnot, and it makes a lot of sense and stuff. But to me it's alchemy. It's alchemy, and this is all shows electricity, not symbolism. Like when I did the research on the Ankhs and stuff like that, all I found was they say that the Ankh is a symbol, and that's all they said, right? So this, to me, is what I'm finding out is a multi-wave oscillator frequency device for it's electromagnetism is what I see. Anyway, that's that. We'll move on to this, and then as you see, they're always together. These are tools of electromagnetism. I would like to call them. You have the pyramid, you have the djed, which is like it's a coil, like a Tesla coil. You have the Waz scepter, and then you have the Ankh, the oscillator, the antenna, and this one here. That's that. The concept of the Ankh as a frequency oscillator is a modern interpretation proposed by authors like Nur Ankh Amen, who asserts that the Ankh shape, when wrapped in coils, could function as an electromagnetic device capable of carrying a charge and operating as an oscillator. This is just you can go back here, and I'm not going to read the whole thing. You can go back and pause the video. Anybody would like to read that, and for that, and I'm going to keep going here. And here is a circuitry from that book. This is the American Origin of Electromagnetism. Also, this is free sourced, all free sourced on the internet. Anybody could find. It's just an example I want to use for how I built this, and the wiring and the circuitry inside and the coiling. Of course, I use which I'm going to show you now on the next clips is quartz crystals. I wrap quartz crystals, and then there's metals. I put metals. We're going to move on to the next one, but that's the display of that, of what I found when I did research on the Ankh. Instead of them saying that this is just a symbol, this is all just symbolisms. They're tools. They're all tools in my mind. And so I've traded my Finnish carpenter hammer in for an Ankh right now. I've switched it in. Here's just a little quick, just the diagram alone about the scepter, the rod conductor. To me, what I see is a grounding rod, which I believe they used with the Ark of the Covenant to be able to ground and discharge, so they can work with the Ark of the Covenant. Is my belief is in my research, what I've seen from everybody else's works. So electronic components used in these are all electronic components used in the conveyance of current through a circuit and discharging a capacitor shrine, which that shrine is the Ark of the Covenant. And if you read through the rest of the book, and you can find this on the internet, African Origin of Electromagnetism book. And here is one of the prototypes that I built, and that goes with this Tesla coil to be used with it also for the frequency. Let's see if I have one here. I have one over here. This one here I have, and then that's one here. There you go. This is one built. I went on a building spree, and I'm testing these out and doing experiments with them. That way, to show how they use them and what they use them for. And I'm still experimenting with them. And that's one of them here. Let me show you another one here. This one goes with this. And this is what I've taken. one of these electrodes with a noble gas in it. I believe this one's argon, probably just simply argon. So I've taken that and placed that inside of this onc. This is just a prototype, so it almost looks like an artifact on its own. But this one here, frequency oscillator to be used with this. Let me see if I can get it to light up. Yeah, it's dim. It does light up, but the frequency is low right now on this. I probably need to fire the frequency up a little higher, but you can see the glow in it. But my goal was to get this running without using the coil and have this with the right electronics inside of the handle to where I can get the plasma. I want to be able to get the plasma to fire up on its own here, just like a wireless, like a handheld device without having to use that with the coil, using the coil to light up the noble gases and such, which it can be done. I've already seen people on the internet have done it. I believe Zerg Labs has done some stuff like this. If I'm not mistaken, Tesla Coil Pro. All right, and then this is my next prototype. Also, this is another one. They all have orgonite material in them, shavings, metal shavings, and then you have the coil wrapped just like you see in the that I showed in that last picture with the inside of it. Now this one is different because I drilled a hole on the bottom here, so I can attach. This is a manual version to be able to attach a tuning fork. So I've attached a tuning fork, 128 hertz there, and that will. Let me see if you can hear it. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to hear it. I don't think you're going to be able to hear it in that. But either way, you can use this on your body manually, just like you would the regular end of a tuning fork. How they use that. My aunt is a sound healer, by the way, and she does the crystal bowls and then she uses these tuning forks for healing purposes. She's worked on me also and gifted me a biomat, a full length biomat, to which that also this device works with the biomat too. It will pulse in once it's plugged into the wall there. It's pulsing the frequencies right through the wires into the biomat with the heating of the amethysts. So that is my use case, and this is how I'm using this device to pulse frequencies out of it. And the way my wiring system is in my home, I have one more item that's attached to the wiring, which is my helium miner, the helium crypto miner. And that runs, I believe the antenna is a 900 hertz range. But this, when you pulse these frequencies custom out of this, when I fire this thing on, it's contacting, it's communicating with other miners that are about a radius of 50 miles from my home, out in a radius. So when I'm pulsing these frequencies, it's going through everything in my entire home. And if I turn these lights off, that I have on the ceiling, they will come on in different spots, in different zones. They will light up, and then when I turn on a certain frequency, only one of them will light up. I had an anomaly where one of them lit up in the room, and then I had this all the way on the other side of the house, and it lit up just one single LED, which was odd, and I believe it's probably most likely due to the frequency that was playing. So that's this one, and then how to use that, and I'll go through, because the time is running out here. Time is flying. All right, so we have the multi-wave oscillators. We have the accessories, the onks, and the pyramid. What I originally wanted to do, here's another one of my prototypes. I wanted to get to put a Faraday disc on the bottom of this, or a pulse motor on the bottom, to where this will, with a battery, and run on its own without having to plug anything into it. And then kind of like a Hummer. You could call it a Hummer or whatnot, or a Dan Winter called that the Hummer, which is, pulsing to pulse these frequencies out. I want to get this and make a display on a small scale of how the pyramids work and their power and whatnot and that such. That was one of my goals, to do that. So this is still a work in process to get that to that stage. And here's some of the other parts that are going to go on the bottom of it, which I have some. I've made a little magnet. Would like to say, I don't know. I want to have a free something that's going to spin on the bottom of there freely. Like I said, with the pulse motor. So I'm this is an experimentation, and then I'm still in the process of working on the next. Because now that I built all these prototypes, I keep going like the Energizer Bunny. I'm building and always thinking of the next and how I can improve these. That's the neon there. All right, put that back. Can you give me the pictures back, Steve? I'm gonna show the rest of the pictures here, and I think I've covered the accessories. Here's the one finished. This is the one finished up in the sun. You can see you can actually see the coils in it, just for a display, just to show that. That's another one. And there I have 3 of them put together there. This one here has, let me see. That's the 3 with the tuning fork. I only did one with the tuning fork, because I wanted to be able to use that manually as a manual healing device, if you want to say per se. And this one right here is one of the original. This one here. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the flower. That's the flower of life one. And then this happened. You see and notice the color, the blue and the purples. Normally, with this thing turned all the way up, it will not. I can't get it to achieve those colors, anything near that. So when I put 2 coils together side by side and I fired them up full blast, that's what one of the bulbs did. The other bulb did another anomaly with what looked to me to be quasar looking, like a beam, a stream coming out of the top of it. But I only did it really quickly because I didn't want to burn the capacitors out, so and leave this on there a very long time. But that to me is reminiscent of the BG3 energy that Dr. Robert Gilbert talks about in his works. This BG3 negative, it's a negative energy, a negative BG3 green is what they call it. You can look that up and check that out and research that. I've done that. So that's my presentation there with all the pics and the accessories, and that's the original sitting right here. And that's how I'm using this device to be able to pulse that. And I believe the first unit cost me under $100 to build. So you're looking at to build your own frequency oscillator for under $100. The coil's $30-40. This coil is upgraded. It's probably about $40-50. So you can get a Bluetooth coil with the free Z app. You can use any generator, any frequency generator you really want. Let me do one more display of the ultrasonic, and you'll see what it looks like different, how the displays in the bulb itself. I'll do that real quick here. Let me get this neon. This neon's off of here. And I'm going to put the ultrasonic on there for a minute, and I'm going to see, and hopefully we don't have another anomaly where, because I haven't experimented too much, only a couple of times with those higher frequencies, with the kilohertz. All right, let me see if I can get this here. This one. Now, let me turn off the other one first. All right, that one's off. I turn the other one off. Give me 1 second. All right. That's the kilohertz frequency generator. It's a different app. And we have this halfway up, and there goes the on button. Now you're going to see a totally different display. There's a totally different display in the bulb. Let me fire this up here. Let me do this real quick. Watch this. It might turn that bulb back on. Yeah. Yeah, there's some orange, nice orange streamers coming out of that. And you can hear the, see it turned itself off. I touched it and overclocked it. It'll come back on though. Here, see? That's the good thing about these coils, so you don't burn it, doesn't burn anything up. Anyway, so that's the one kilohertz. I'm not gonna go any higher than that, because it'll start destroying things and melting. I don't want to melt anything or mess up my electronics. So for me, my interest is in all the low frequencies. From my research and then using this for about 1.5 years, 2 years, it's the lower frequencies that are the ones that will help bring your cells back to homeostasis, so-called. That's that. Let me turn this down here just in case. But that's the kilohertz. So I've added all the geometric shapes and now the next step is also to go with two and three coils together, and I'll be doing experiments for that also, and probably building a scepter to go with it too, and I'll end up probably building a small scale Ark of the Covenant in my backyard eventually. I don't know. We'll see. That's what I have. That's what I have, Steve, to share and with everybody.
Well, I'm back.
All right.
And we got your angst with us. Oh, see, Christopher sent me these onks already, and just like that.
I wanted to see you doing some experiments and give me some feedback.
I shall be, and yeah, he also sent me one of the units. I left it at Nathan's. I'm heading back there this week, so I will be finally doing some experiments with Chris's awesome.
Something really quick, Bernie. These are important, and I believe you'll be able to experiment with those. I sent you a bunch of these with it. That's it.
Yeah, I remember seeing those in the box. Absolutely. So we'll be doing another.
Look, this is my idea. When you're doing the electrolysis, to put one on each side of these, to put one on each side and imprint and play the frequency device to where it programs the frequency, cut some frequencies in there, and see. Like I said, you're gonna have to experiment with it.
Absolutely.
You're gonna
be before the week is done.
You're gonna be.
I also have that Z app on my tablet, so it's perfect, ready to go.
Okay, yeah, you're familiar, I know, with the Z app. So, like I said, there's the other, but that's the main one to use. That's the best one to use, the Z app to me, and that's what I'm using. So yeah, that yeah. Yeah, I appreciate you having me on so I could share this with everybody, anybody that wants to, learn about it or build their own and use the devices themselves, and like I've been doing. I've had great success, I believe, and I'm been on the road to healing, healing journey for 4 to 5 years now, and I'd say I'm doing much better. I'm dealing with and these devices have a lot to do with it and helping in my case. So I think they can help people. I want to bring this stuff back. Bring this tech back, just like the Tesla stuff. All of this needs to come back and use it, not the stuff. We have tech now, but
Absolutely.
we want
2026.
the tech for ourselves, not the people that already have the tech. These people already have the tech. It's time for us to get the tech and use the tech and do stuff and good stuff with it and keep building, right?
Absolutely. Be able to heal ourselves.
Exactly.
And
That's
it's good
the
to see
point.
others experimenting with this and having positive results, and that it's like you're not trying to sell anything, you're just trying to figure out work. And just like me, someone who guinea pigs on ourselves first and helps anyone.
These aren't for sale for many different reasons. Legal reasons, of course. And the disclaimer: anybody going in here, please, do your research before, playing with Tesla coils and whatnot, and you want to know what you're doing first before you go, diving in. But I've done a lot of research. You guys have done it. I see them doing it. So, either way. Yeah. Awesome.
We have a question for contact information.
Would you like some contact information? I have the YouTube. It's in my name, the Crypto Builders Keep, and you can contact me there on the YouTube, Crypto Builders Keep. That's probably the best place to contact me. In my comments section or that, and just hit me up in there on one of my videos and ask, because I have a bunch of displays of these devices, running and experiments with them and whatnot. So that would probably be, I would say that would be the best place. Just hit me up on the YouTube.
How often do you post on YouTube?
I post pretty regularly. Yeah.
I test to watch Chris quite often.
I'm all over the place on the internet. I'm in over there and in the Bob Greenyer's physics stuff and hanging out with them, and I'm all over it now. I'm hanging out with you guys. I'm getting involved. Before I would just sit back in the background, not doing anything, and then now that I'm in the condition I'm in and feeling better and stuff, I'm going to get back out here and poke my turtle head back out in the world and get building again. So now I can't build homes anymore, but I can build these things. So if I can build, I'm going to build something. Keep building. Just like Old Man Build, shout out to him, Nathan. He's awesome, and you guys, your whole crew is awesome. So I appreciate you guys, especially for hooking me up and having me on to talk with you guys about this stuff. This is exciting stuff to me and you guys and everybody else. The pyramids, all this stuff is really exciting, and people want to know the truth and the answers of everything, and you got to go and do it and use it, and I want to show how these things work, like they used them back then, just like other people have done, like with the Dendera light and stuff like that. There's some really great people have done some good stuff to show how this stuff really works. Yeah, that's what I'd like to do. Be a part of it.
We will definitely be having you back on again soon, and I will be doing an episode with you when I get back to Old Man Builds to get us experimenting with what you sent us, and appreciate it.
Awesome. I'll be looking forward to it. Now I'm getting used to being online and streaming without any issues like I had the first couple of times. That'll be good.
Yeah, absolutely great presentation tonight, my friend. Appreciate
thank you.
And
Thank you. Yep, thank you, and thank you, Steve. It's very nice meeting you. And then
Well, it's been meeting you
too. Yeah.
And I'd like to remind people, about the conference coming up August 12th to 16th. Do pre-register. We have 40% off right now. And our phone number is 520-463-1994. Just give me a call and I'll get you signed up, or you can go to our website. But I think you all have a great time and can meet people like Christopher, for instance. There's a lot of people with coils and everything there. And if you go there, you're going to have a blast. I mean, we have something going on practically 24 hours a day, and your biggest problem is going to be getting enough sleep. So you might want to get rest up before you go, so you have enough energy to make it through.
and you'll get to meet Bernie in person.
Yeah, and Bernie will be there, and like I say, you all have a great time. And thank you all for coming, and I'll see you all next week. And that's it for today. Thank you for coming again, Christopher.
Peace out. Thank you again, Steve.
Okay.
Have a great week.
You too. And then